Have you ever wondered how dangerous a plush toy can be? What harm, destruction and chaos a plushie could cause? How many lives it could take? Well, me neither, but some people do wonder that. Which eventually led me to obtain and learn about some of the rarest Angry Birds plushies of all time, which also have a pretty crazy little story attached to them. It was October 31st, 2025. I'm looking at my favorite Discord server to check what amazing new things people have said recently. I look into the online listings channel and there I see it. A link to a vintage listing of some weird looking plushies. No one knows what they are or who made them. I look at the price, $1 plus whatever shipping comes out to be. I thought this could be something special, so I clicked buy. And around a week later, on November 6th, they arrived.
It's been a long time coming. Fresh new ties, I'm still running. It's a few things I'm overcoming. Running checks still clear, still think about it every night and day to try to stay away to keep my heart hit. So don't take this as disrespect. I'm sitting here trying to redirect her. Think about it every night and day to try to stay away to keep my heart hit. So don't take this as disrespect. I'm still here in a trifecta. It's been a long time coming.
They look kinda underwhelming, huh? I took a look. 2 reds and 1 minion pig. So let's take a closer look at them, shall we? First are the reds. Their appearance is wonky, sure, but they have their charm, you know. The embroidery on their eyes and the eyebrows, which mind you are the only places where you can find embroidery, is lazily done, with spots of it obviously missing and the fabric seeping through. Then we can move over to the dark spots, a detail often omitted by many plush manufacturers, Commonwealth, from where we can go to the stitching of the plush, which is also lackluster to say the least. Matter of fact, on both reds there's a small bit where the stitch seemingly broke and there's filling trying to get out of it. Another thing you can notice are the top and tail feathers, or rather how they are made of flat pieces of fabric just stitched onto the plush. An interesting thing to point out is the inconsistency in shape and beak placement on these. Shape, I think, speaks for itself, given they both kinda take the shape of a brick, more or less. But the beak placement is rather more intriguing in my opinion, as under a short inspection one can notice how the beak usually doesn't connect with the eyes like it should, often drifting off somewhere else, which is the case for both of my examples, and likely every single one that has ever existed. And finally, on the top of the plush behind the head feathers, you can find a backpack clip. Nothing of worthiness to say here, but it narrows down about what this product could even be. A plush backpack clip. Oh, and if you're wondering about size, he's something between a Commonwealth backpack clip and a 4-inch mini. And if you're curious about the tag, on the front you can find the old Angry Birds logo. Not the one most modern merch pieces are associated with, which I find really weird. Why would the manufacturer not go with the logo almost every piece of Angry Birds media nowadays has used for a good part of a decade? And on the back, where one could expect a company logo, some date code, maybe even factory like on a Commonwealth, but It simply says Rovio 2023, which for a long time left me wondering, who even made these? Now the pig is just miles better than his red enemy. While still having a brick shape like our birds, his embroidery is like night and day by comparison. Looks more detailed with more work put into it pretty clearly. There's also more spots with embroidery on him, so whatever red has going on couldn't be a cost issue. The bad piggy has a chrome style on him, with the snout color being the main indicator of it. My main problem here is that I feel like the ear hole embroidery could have been done in some other color. But that's up to opinion, I think. One thing that is sad to say is that his clip is missing. Seemingly the metal part was bent and the clip was removed. But it's fair to assume his was the same as Red's, so we can at least imagine what it once looked like. And now that we have established what these are like, we should focus on other questions. Why are they? What are they? Where are they from? Are they unreleased? If not, where were they released? These questions have stumped me for the last 6 months. I had very little to go off of. Most I had were the items themselves and an Instagram post from the Angry Birds account from 2024, where a red or two can be seen, but that was a one-off post. However, it indicated that this could have been a very obscure release of a modern item, not a cancelled product. And so I was left to wonder forever. Every road just seemed to be a dead end, with no clear answer. That is, until recently. It was a Saturday. I was searching for some install photos of a Commodore Plushies in Poland, which by the way are almost like non-existent. Seriously, I dare you to try and find more than 2. Impossible. Back to the track though, I also tried to search for some photos of install Angry Birds plush in other countries for purely fun. Then I wanted to search for them in Czechia. I clicked on images, and there I saw a familiar face. That day, my heart skipped a beat. I immediately went to the website that used this image, and there they were! Before we get into what the website is actually saying, we should take a look at what the photos actually show us. 4 photos, front and back of both plushies, which can confirm that only those 2 were made for the set. Then hang tag, a thing I thought I never ever would see. It uses the generic style guide for modern Angry Birds merchandise. To find similar ones, look no further than to Mighty Mojo or Just Toys. On the back, Rovio's logo, some text and images, but hard to make out as both back photos have the tag blurred for some reason. But then still no manufacturer logo. Could Rovio have made these by themselves? And finally, this sticker, May 2nd, 2024, 2401945002, product code. Then I realized that these photos could very well be factory images of finalized product ready to hit store shelves. I'm still not sure what the code means, but I think it's fair to assume that 24 refers to the year and 01 could be the month, since the Angry Birds Instagram post was published in January of 2024. Then I wanted to see what the website was actually about. I put a screenshot into Google Translate and I learned that the website was some data site and the section these were in was for product and toys dangerous for children. I read in closer. First of all, the pig is supposed to be Leonard? I don't see the similarities, unless this could be very well a mess up on the maker's side. and also found out that they would arrive in plastic bags by delivery, which is pretty obvious when you think about it for more than 2 seconds, but I thought it would be worth pointing out. Then I read it even closer. The product does not comply with the requirements of the Toy Safety Directive and the European standard. What? The soft toy has small parts that detach too easily. Small children may put them in the mouth and choke. Again, what? If this is anything to go off of, they were supposed to release in early August of 2024. And then I saw this. Type of economic operator subject to the measure, importer. Category of measure, destruction of the product? What? Then it hit me. These little rascals are cancelled and unreleased plushies, which were deemed dangerous to children in Europe. And all of their stock was set for destruction. Which means that I could very well own the very last ever examples of these toys ever that exist. They were axed just under 2 weeks before release. Or I could be stupid and the August date relates to this thing being published. But oh well, either way, this all makes these the rarest Angry Birds plush of the decade, and some of the rarest Angry Birds plush of all time. Now I had to find out how these survived. So naturally, like any other guy, I messaged the person who sold them to me 6 months ago, no big deal, right? They said they don't know and that it likely was a gift to them. So we may never know. Could it be that someone worked with the people that made these? Could be that they actually released somewhere? But this whole thing says otherwise. And there are other sites that say the same thing, that these were canned and... In the end, these are just super duper cool pieces of Angry Birds merchandise history, forever to be almost extinct with these few examples remaining, as all of their friends were presumably burned away somewhere, never to see the light of day. And there you have it, the odd, dangerous and mysterious Angry Birds 2023 Backpack Club plush toys. This story is for sure really wild, but I'm glad I can at least have some closure as to their existence. Even if I still don't know who made them. But at least I know that I am in possession of such a rare piece. And I think that's enough for me. And on that rare note, I can only say bye.